Lunda Wells is quietly becoming one of the most intriguing names in this offseason's coaching cycle. The current tight ends coach of the Dallas Cowboys is preparing for his third interview for an offensive coordinator role. This time, the opportunity comes from the New York Jets, a franchise searching for a new offensive identity. The timing suggests Wells' profile inside the league is rising faster than many expected. Wells has been part of the Cowboys staff since 2020, developing quietly without much national attention. Yet, internally, his reputation has steadily grown as a detail-oriented teacher and creative run-game mind. The fact that multiple teams are now circling reflects a broader reevaluation of his impact. This is no longer a courtesy interview phase, it's a legitimacy test. Earlier in the cycle, Wells interviewed with the Washington Commanders and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Those meetings were rooted in pre-existing professional relationships rather than surface-level interest. That context matters because it signals trust, not just curiosity. Now, the Jets' interview changes the narrative entirely. New York represents a team without personal history attached to Wells. If they are interested, it's based on film, philosophy, and projection, not familiarity. That elevates this interview to a defining checkpoint in his career arc. It's where league perception either crystallizes or stalls. Block 2. Why teams are paying attention. One day before the Jets' interview news broke, Wells delivered a strong statement on the field. He served as head coach at the 101st East-West Shrine Bowl and led his team to a convincing win. More important than the result was the style of play on display. Aggression, tempo, and clarity were evident throughout the game. For executives watching closely, the Shrine Bowl wasn't about trick plays or flash. It was about how Wells managed situations, controlled momentum, and communicated decisions. Those are coordinator traits that don't show up in standard stat sheets. They show up in trust from players and staff. The performance reinforced what some around the league already believed. Wells understands offensive structure beyond his positional title. He sees sequencing, spacing, and pressure points within defensive looks. That's the difference between a position coach and a play-caller candidate. In a hiring cycle full of recycled names, Wells offers something different. He represents development rather than retread. That distinction matters for teams looking to build, not just stabilize. And the Jets clearly fall into that category. What this means for the Jets and the league. For the Jets, casting a wide net is not optional, it's necessary. Recent offensive struggles have forced the organization to rethink its approach. Interviewing Wells suggests openness to fresh voices and modern teaching styles. It's a subtle but meaningful shift in process. Unlike some candidates, Wells isn't tied to a single superstar quarterback. His work has been about maximizing role players and building functional units. That skill set can be more transferable than flashy resume bullet points, especially for a team seeking offensive stability. League-wide, Wells' interview slate signals a broader trend. Teams are placing more value on coaches who can adapt rather than dictate. The days of rigid offensive systems are fading. Flexibility and player-centric design are becoming currency. If Wells lands a coordinator job, it won't just be a personal milestone. It will validate a slower, developmental coaching path that could influence future hiring cycles across the NFL. Sometimes, the ripple matters more than the splash. Consequences for Dallas and Final Red. From a Cowboys perspective, this development cuts both ways. On one hand, it validates the organization's internal coaching pipeline. On the other, it raises questions about continuity moving forward. Losing Wells would create a real, not symbolic, gap. Dallas has benefited from offensive staff stability in recent seasons. Wells has been part of that ecosystem, even if quietly. His departure would force recalibration, not just replacement. That's rarely seamless in the NFL. Still, this moment belongs to Wells. 3 interviews with 3 different franchises is not coincidence. It's the market speaking clearly about his trajectory. Whether now or later, his time is coming. The Jets' interview may not end in a hire, but it confirms that Lunda Wells is officially on the league's radar. From position coach to play-calling candidate, the line has been crossed. And once that happens, there's no going back.